Hey guys, what it is your girl Cadillac. I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping, girl, to see justice before all face to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, coming through today on June the 15th. Cut the car off so my battery don't die. Yes, so I was supposed to be attending. It's this little event that they had at one of our radio stations here in Orlando, Florida, Star 94.5. That station has been such a close friend to me on my journey of Project Reach the World, right? So I'll link a video of what Project Reach the World is in the description box below. Okay, but if after watching that and you're like, oh my goodness, you met all those people, all those famous people, you got your artwork, you got the story of your husband being wrongfully convicted and excessively sentenced, to all these fabulous people. And the major way, now, really back then it was 3 urban radio stations. So it was a mixture of all 3 stations, not necessarily always the same station, but Star 94.5 did a great deal to help me get my project to a lot of the people that you see that I did. So it started out with me making like connections with DJs and stuff like that, because y'all know I started with music, and I thought, hey, the perfect way to break this story of my husband being wrongfully convicted is to, well, I first started through news options and stuff like that, going to because I did have a news reporter do a story on me, but that was for my identity theft. So I was thinking, that kind of made it where everybody in the neighborhood knew who I was, like for a split moment. It was like, oh, you're that girl from the news and this and that. So I was like, okay, if I could get Marcello's story just on a local news, there would be people coming forward to help out and stuff like that. Now, not knowing what I know now, the news is as well biased. You think you're going to get better information, more truthful information. Sometimes you're still only going to get one side of the story. So a big challenge in breaking a wrongful conviction story is trying to get the other side reported, because there's like a group of beliefs that they want all of us to share and have. Those beliefs, if your message aligns with those beliefs, it'll be so simple to get your story out. If your message is alternative to those beliefs and actually cause people to question those beliefs that they want us all to believe, then it's going to be quite difficult to get your story out, which is why, they don't want a narrative of a black man being wrongfully incarcerated. Really, it wouldn't even matter if he was black. They don't want to hear that someone is incarcerated wrongfully, because that points to that they made a mistake. There's no way they can make a mistake because, number one, all the players that are in this system are fair and just. That couldn't happen in a fair and just system. And all of their laws are thorough and fair and just. So a wrongful conviction would not happen in those conditions. It's like you make conditions right for a certain situation, right? So let's see, okay, it's about to rain, right? The conditions most times are right for rain outside. So a wrongful conviction, there's no way that happens, because they make sure, what they tell us and what we believe is that they make the conditions so hard for it to happen that there's no way it happens, right? Okay, so this channel, back to that story, this channel has been very instrumental. When Tom Joyner used to come here for his family reunion every year, that second week, I believe, of back to school in Florida, and he would bring everybody, and I would get a list of who's going to be at the Tom Joyner family reunion. And I would literally, that whole month before, just be drawing and painting every single person that I wanted to try to get a Project Reach the World. I call it a Project Reach the World package too. That would be a piece of artwork, something that links you to my music, and also something that would capture your attention, which would usually be my crazy hair pieces or outfits. So a lot of times the way that I got the stuff to them was through the radio station. You literally cannot get anywhere close to some of these famous people. So I always needed a middleman, and the DJs have done so much to help. Said all that to say, thank you, first of all. And then also that, so they were doing things in the community as well. They have this organization called Star Cares. Last year, me and Money went to a thing that they had at the station. Another big part of it, Star 94.5, how they helped me. They were the ones, me winning that contest to eat lunch with Life Jennings is the whole purpose, whole reason I started Project Reach the World. So now, though Project Reach the World is about breaking the story of Marcello being wrongfully convicted, excessively sentenced in the state of Florida, right? And me becoming a single mother like that instantly due to it. It is that's the purpose. But the reason I started is because I met Life Jennings. I won a contest. First, I dreamed it. I dreamed that I met Life Jennings, and y'all, shoot, back then nobody talked about prison. None of this was coming up for discussion. Wasn't nothing about criminal justice reform. Nothing. Nobody spoke about this. You didn't hear this at all. You never heard any officials say anything about prison, about justice, and nothing. So I basically was out there cold calling people, trying to reach out to people about this situation. But I dreamed that I met Life Jennings. And Life Jennings, y'all know, is an artist that got out of prison. And then if y'all watch that Must Be Nice video, the guard was like giving back his belongings, which had his guitar. And she's like, what are you going to do now that you're getting out of prison? And he's like, I'm going to go to the Apollo. Y'all know his voice if y'all know him. And he's like, the guard says, ha, you'll be back. Like sarcastically, like, you just belong in jail. You know you'll be back here. Girl, throwing salt. So the first time I seen that video, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe somebody was explaining this whole experience, this whole thing. Oh, actually, no. The first one was Alicia Keys falling. And that video came out when Marcello first went to prison, when I was visiting him at the county jail. And oh my gosh, I felt like Miss Alicia Keys just looked in my bedroom window and just started taking notes and wrote that song. That was my story. So it was very hard to find anything to relate to. So when I did find anything that related to our situation, I just latched on to it and fell in love with it. But anyways, so after dreaming that I met Mr. Life Jennings, I actually did. They called me the next day. Actually, my cousin is the one that really won the contest, but he was too young, so he had to forfeit it, and I ended up claiming that prize. I entered myself, but they didn't call me. They called him. And from that moment, meeting him, and in the dream, I dreamed that we wrote songs together. And through writing songs together, I got money, I got funds, and I also broke that story of Marcello being wrongfully convicted and got him home, right? So the dream ended out successfully. Now, when I did meet Life Jennings, I guess like maybe the next day or a couple days afterwards, I read a poem to him, and just like in a dream, he was like, "Oh my gosh, you are just so talented. We have got to work together." I read a poem to him called 1020 Life. I'll link that in the description as well. I illustrated every frame of that video and performed it, recorded everything. So I read him that poem, and I had did a Project Reach the World drawing of him, gave it to him, and he gave me some advice. He said two things. He said, "Tell that man of yours that life is possible." And he told me to never give up. So, and then it ended, basically. We didn't make the songs together, nothing like that. I went on to meet him time and time again, and he actually started to get familiar with who I and my daughter was, because my daughter went with me everywhere I went to meet people. And that made me think that, you know what, dreams are not always straight. When you dream about somebody in your dream, it's usually somebody else. It's not usually necessarily that person that you dream about. So I'm like, the dream's not complete. It may not be like Jennings. It could be such and such and such. So that's where I was like, oh, so because I met Life Jennings and I did not break the story, it must not be him. It must be someone else. And that's where I went to meet famous person after famous person after famous person, bringing them my Project Reach the World story, right? So that's a little bit throwback for y'all in my relationship with Star 94.5. There's also Monica May that was out there in the community. She was always the spokesperson going into the schools, talking with the young girls. And just last year, they did a domestic violence talk where they came in, they had it catered. It was nice. I took money. Because she has a story. And I want money to not feel alone. The way I felt alone, going through this prison wife situation, I do not want money to feel alone in that situation of domestic violence. So I wanted to take her to that dinner, and we signed up and we got in. It was beautiful. They had our state attorney, Monique Worrell. The one I'm trying to get Marcello's story to is just taking a bit of time because she got the power to overturn it, right? To go back and open up that case and let Marcello home. But so she was speaking, it was other women speaking, and even Monica May had her own testimony of domestic violence and stuff. So when I heard on the radio that they had another one of these events coming up, but this time it was for single parents, single mothers, I said, "Oh my gosh, I really wanted to take money to that." I signed up and she signed up. See, I don't usually listen to the radio. I usually listen to my Sirius XM, or I'm always driving down the street listening to YouTube and stuff like that. So I didn't, I barely caught that. So we signed up, but I guess they must not have, because they were saying that space was limited. So I guess they must not have picked us, or maybe they had already filled up. But I really wanted to take her to that today. Because, and it's basically, the event was saying that how hard it is for a single mother. Majority of kids nowadays are brought up by single parent households, and especially single mothers. And single mothers, basically, they are one of the most impoverished groups, which is sad. But it's just sad. And I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll see the box right there. I'm packing, so I'm gonna go up and I'll probably do a part 2 to this. I want to tell my story of being a single mother and the trials. I know I've told this story before, but you never know. I don't know when you came in to following me. I don't know when, if you just joined me or you've been rocking with me. If you've been rocking with me, you heard this story, then I don't know. Thank you for listening again. But if you did not hear this story, baby, I've been through raising money was no ways easy. Not at all. It wasn't even the least bit easy. It was not. And I became a single mother overnight. Like literally, I never even dreamed, thought, or anything because really in my situation, I had met the love of my life. I met the perfect man off rip. Like everything was so perfect. So it was nothing that, why would that even cross my mind? It wasn't until this unfortunate situation happened. And it happens to other people where, like, if the father of the child dies, that has happened before. Like, and that mother becomes a single parent, like, just overnight. Like, anything can happen. And overnight, I became a single mother. And to begin, when I was beginning this journey, so when did I'm literally like, which is so crazy. I'm a prison wife. So I am together but separate, right? So I'm technically married but single. It's an oxymoron, but my whole life has been an oxymoron. But yeah, so I'm together but single. Crazy. But my journey of single motherhood started in 2002. 2002, when our daughter was 9 months old. Y'all hear me mention that all the time. That is when Marcello lost his rigged up trial, and he was bound to. Like, girl, if we could rewind back and know everything that we know now and know how unjust the system is, Marcello never would have took his chances at all. We would have just, at that point, I think the best option would have been to just take a plea deal. Take a plea deal. And if you're looking like, in this system, if you're looking like you're going to plea, a lot of people plea not out of guilt. Majority of people don't even plea out of guilt. Majority of people plea out of, it's basically, a plea becomes a situation where you're just trying to save your life. You're at your last end of life. You know how if someone's operating on you and they're trying every single thing, like it brings back the memory of my mother when they were trying to do CPR on her. Oh my gosh, that was the horriblest vision. But when my mother was passing away from negligence of a doctor, they were trying everything. At last resort, they were trying to do, what is that? Dialysis. But the dialysis, right shortly after trying to hook her up, I heard cold blue. I'm like, what the heck is cold blue? Google what cold blue, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So when they brought us back to the room, they're doing CPR on her. They're trying everything that they can to save her life. That's literally what a plea is. Though you are innocent, very well could be. But we're trying to see how we can salvage your life. And that's basically what a plea is. A plea is usually, I would say half the time it could be truthful that the person did something because they took a plea, and half the time it could be, I'm just trying to salvage my life. Had Marcello took his plea, which was 17 years. First of all, if you're looking like you're going to take a plea, they'll work with you. They'll work it down. Marcello could have got down further and further and would have been home almost a decade ago. But his original plea was 17 years. I got a song about that. Should have took the plea. Oh, better take the plea. Okay, so y'all, this disclaimer, this is not legal advice, girl, but this is save your A advice. and I wrote this, and I had an actual lawyer chime in and laugh and say, wow, like for real. But it's, if you accused in a crime, you better take the plea. You ain't got no money, you better take the plea. Ain't got a good lawyer, you better take the plea. Hey, take that from me, you take it to trial, that's in your up Shit's Creek. So take the plea, girl. Not legal advice, remember that. But girl, I know I've been there, done that. But you do what you feel, right? But yeah, had he took that old plea, he would have been home. And then he could have just fought to clear his name, which would have been almost as impossible as it is to free an innocent man. But at least he would have been fighting from outside the gate than inside the gate. So either way it goes, whether he's wrongfully or rightfully sentenced, his life is passing by. All his time that he could have, helped raise money, he missed her life. It's gone. You cannot replay that. You can't give that back to him. There's no amount of money that literally would even amount to what he could have done. The only way really to make it right, just let him go. Let him go. And they're not interested in that, right? They're interested in getting those 40 years out of him. But I would say a plea is more similar to that. So he lost that trial, and overnight, everything that I thought that I thought I had the man of my life, of my dreams. We had a daughter. I thought we were just at the beginning of creating our family. I thought, we're young. You're 19, I'm 20. By the time he lost trial, I would have been 21. He was 20. Both of us still with plenty of time to become whatever we need to become. Yes, we're struggling now, but we're going to get it to where we're going to be able to raise money in a good environment. We're going to be able to afford our own place to stay. We're going to be able to afford all of these things because we're going to get better over time. Not knowing that I was going from a fairy tale to seems like the pits of hell. Did not know that, like literally overnight. And I became a single mother by force, not choice. I'm gonna leave y'all with this rap right here, and then I'll tell my single mother story, because I was hoping that I could have went to the little get together and I could be around some other single mothers that could basically be like a network with one another, because single mothers go through it, like honestly. And when I raised my child and it was over, which is still not over, because as a single mother I'm still helping her now, and now she's a single mother. Kind of passed on a baton that I didn't want to pass on to her. But I'd rather be a single mother than in a domestic situation. So, but let me hit that little wrap. It looked like it's about to rain. And then I'm going to go in, pack some, and then I'll probably come back and just finish the story. Or I might go live and do the story, because that'll be better. Okay, so here we go. To all my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Hey, know that you can make it, but the choice is yours. If you never give up, never throw in the towel. Hey, keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. All my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Hey, know that you can make it, but the choice is yours. If you never give up, never throw in the towel. Keep your head up, you make it out somehow. Things get rough and you're feeling all alone. No, it's not fair to make that baby on your own. But whoever told you that life would be fair? And whoever said your baby daddy would stay there? Her 35% are locked in jail. Her 35% don't even give a damn. That only leaves 30%. True pop, so them 30%. I must give give them props. See, some mamas got to work 2 jobs, they never home. Some mamas got to slip, they gotta slide down that pole. But they do what they gotta do to take care of they seed. Cause nothing in this life is a guarantee. Yeah, things get rough, but they ain't impossible. For answers that you need, you better search deep inside of you. Gonna have to find some way to make it through. Cause them kids got no one else, they depending on you. To all my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Hey, know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Just keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. All my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Just keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. Example, people talk about the things that Kim do, but they don't know what hell she been through. Let's say your baby was hungry, ain't had no food. You sure you wouldn't be tempted to steal it for him? Let's say you just lost your job, you couldn't pay your rent. You sure you wouldn't be tempted to go and strip? See, one slide down that pole could be a hot meal. One more lap dance could pay a couple bills. This situation is a mother. Yeah, I know, because I'm also doing it by myself. And every time I try to do the right thing, it's like I always end up catching hell. I'm sympathizing with this mother. Yeah, her taking time to look at every single fact. And even though she might not always do the right thing, she always got good intentions. To all my single mothers out there by force, not choice. Hey, know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Just keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. All my single mothers out there by force, not choice. They know that you can make it, but the choice is yours if you never give up. Never throw in the towel. Just keep your head up, you'll make it out somehow. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac.